The village of Tlamacazapa is located high in the dry and rocky mountains of South Mexico. The villagers, of Nahua origin, believe that Tlamacazapa was founded over 500 years ago, when families fled the fertile valley below and ran into the mountains to escape the Spanish conquest. Today, the impoverished village stands in stark contrast to the incredible vista of hills, sky, and distant lakes. The 6,000 villagers earn a meager living by weaving baskets of palm. Boys gather the palm which grows wild and carry it home. After drying the palm, a skilled weaver working steadily can make a large basket in 3 to 4 days. It will sell for a few dollars outside the village. Men and boys of all ages leave the village to sell the baskets on streets throughout Mexico. They are gone from weeks to months at a time, leaving their families behind to survive from day to day. Few families farm the rocky and infertile land. People buy corn. They grind it to make tortillas, their staple food, and cook over an open fire, eating twice a day. In the morning, the poorest families eat tortillas, at times with nothing else but salt. In the late afternoon, they again eat tortillas and salt. Sometimes they add a thin soup of rice, onion, and tomato, or a piece of cheese, egg, or beans. Many children are malnourished, especially as increasing amounts of junk food enter the village. 40% of children are not in school. Intestinal parasites, inadequate food, and frequent pregnancies all contribute to women's complaints of feeling unwell and weak. 3/4 of adult women are illiterate. Many women seldom leave the village. Their world is small. Water is a constant problem. In the dry season, villagers wait hours to gather water that trickles into the 4 main village wells from cracks in the limestone bedrock. They carry the water home laboriously on the steep roads and paths, strapped to their heads or across their shoulders. In the rainy season, these wells fill with a dirty runoff of garbage and excrement. 3 pumping stations, built with local labor, cross a mountain range to bring water weekly to the neighborhoods of Tlamacazapa from a spring 5 kilometers away. This too is problematic. The system provides more water for distribution, but that water is now sold. The poorest families cannot buy it. To complicate matters further, laboratory studies reveal arsenic and lead in the water and soil. Both are natural but harmful metals. Further studies also show toxic metals in the palm dyes and in the clay cooking pots. In malnourished people, these toxins interact synergistically, producing a silent crisis of slow poisoning. People's stories are tragic. They speak of fatigue and illness, deaths of small children, the beating of wives, husbands and brothers killed in drunken fights. Too many men are alcoholic, drinking to excess too often, a reflection of a persistent macho male culture and of ongoing despair. Women speak of their ignorance, of blame, and of exhaustion. Years of grim survival with a strong belief in the evil eye and in witchcraft have shaped a complicated culture of destructive gossip, of distrust, and of fear, causing finally the near death of dreams. When living with this internal oppression, individuals frequently attack each other, physically and emotionally, instead of working to resolve their problems. To justify inaction or simplistic interventions, those in authority point to this disturbing behavior as evidence that the people are unable to cooperate or to be civil. The behavior actually is a manifestation of fear and of low self-esteem, and is a release of negative energy. Women and men cope on a day-to-day basis, but ultimately with self-defeating consequences. This is the violence of poverty, resulting in a population all but destroyed culturally and spiritually. People, having lost spirit and weakened with insecurity, possess little vision for their own future. Trapped in their own negativity and with little faith in their own ability to make change, the people of Tlamacazapa accepted a life marked by poverty, misery, and early death. Atzin, meaning sacred water in Nahuatl, the language of the people, is a humanitarian organization located in Mexico and also in Canada and in the United States. Starting in 1997, Atzin team members were initially overwhelmed by the rough conditions in the village and wanted to understand more thoroughly its history, context, and dynamics, and to work to develop trust and confidence with the people by doing something, offering needed services and assistance, responding to questions, being attentive and listening. Volunteers started with simple bridge activities, allowing others to see them and to get to know people. Over the next years, activities evolved into substantial programs. Hesitantly at first, and later more openly, village families welcomed team members into their homes. Individuals grow in different ways at different times, but first the taste of freedom, the actual experience of a new and wanted culture must be established. This experience shakes up entrenched mindsets and habits. Tight strands of distrust are slowly loosened. Shimmers of possibility appear. To trust each other, to listen and to be heard, to participate, to find the courage to speak, and to take action. Working in Tlamacazapa is tough. Nothing comes easily. It's like pushing a big rock uphill. The minute we ease up, the rock rolls back and we lose ground. To advance takes tremendous concentration and a united effort. But that's what this work is about, creating a common unity with a great resolve. Emerging gradually in response to community needs, ATSIN programs focus on 4 integrated areas: health and healing, income generation for women, community education and literacy, and environment, water, and sanitation. Each program is based on tested principles of community development, principles such as the need to address food, water, shelter, participation, and love, the building of knowledge and technical capacities, the rebuilding of self-confidence and cultural identity, the renewal of self-sufficiency and community viability. Children and adults with special physical and emotional challenges are often hidden away. Seeking them out, the Special Needs Program provides therapy, home visits, medications, nutritional supplements, and importantly, accompaniment. Children attend the Motlin Dental Program at no cost, while adults receive subsidized dental care. Trained village midwives now offer a full range of safe motherhood services, including pre- and postnatal care, delivery attendance, maternal support, newborn follow-up, and emergency transfers. With assistance from ATSIN, people dream of the construction of a wellness center, Yotlakat non Siwak, a woman reborn, complete with a birthing facility and a reception center for women and families in crisis. Instead of continuing to cook on a 3-rock fire, families can now use an ecological wood stove, cooking more efficiently with half the smoke and using half the firewood, thereby conserving their health, their time, and the surrounding forests. To alleviate poverty and to support self-sufficiency, more income per household is vital. ATSIN provides needed technical support for small business development. Women receive cash in hand for their palm baskets as members of Zoyatl, a cooperative of weavers. The women improve the quality and designs of their baskets while expanding into new markets, new products, and simultaneously preserving the ancient art of weaving. Villagers buy household items at a fair price from a small store owned and run by local women. The store is called Timo Palaguia, which means we help ourselves. The women share in the store's profits and in its benefits. Other women sew stunning quilts from donated scrap material in their own workshop called We Dream, paying close attention to quality and creativity. All programs incorporate local responsibility and ownership as well as continuous learning. In preparation for assuming program responsibilities, young women participate in intensive training schools. These schools provide opportunity for them to explore their indigenous culture and heritage, to discover and to practice new skills, and to learn to live cooperatively. More than 100 children aged 5 to 12 learn to read and write in an open-air program called Tihuiliski, meaning we can. The program is taught by 22 local young women who use a small group, participatory approach to teaching and learning. Older women from 13 to 40 can now begin to believe that they too can sign their names, write a letter, add up numbers, and know their basic rights, including the right to own land and to manage their affairs. In the year 2000, the United Nations set a global goal of reducing by half the proportion of people without sustainable access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation by the year 2015. The people of Tlamacazapa have serious problems with sanitation and with the quality, quantity, and economy of their water. Their local problems reflect our global ones. In addition, their long-term exposure to low levels of multiple harmful metals cause a toxic synergy, resulting in poor health and constant fatigue, particularly for the malnourished villagers. The poorest people are increasingly unwell. Atsin compiles evidence of contamination and distributes that information. Atsin trains a crew of village men to construct household dry toilets and rainwater harvest tanks. Atsin forms alliances in support of a healthy and productive environment, collaborating with other organizations and with government institutions. People heal as inner fear lessens and confidence rises. People grow when they see themselves and their world more clearly. Despite the inevitable tensions that occur, they take more responsibility for thoughtful actions to improve their own living conditions. Suddenly, after a long build-up, there is a rupture of internal oppression. Better ways of being, better ways of living now seem possible, new ways that can lead to a more fulfilling life. This is an empowering moment, a very personal moment, a moment that counters dependency and despair while strengthening inner spirit and intention. People awaken to a new belief in the self, a new belief in others. To awaken is to possess fresh creativity and new determination for growth and for change. Atsin is an external presence that is stimulating personal and social change in rhythm with the people of Tlamacazapa, helping them to recover and to recreate their cultural identity and a meaningful way of life. Atsin is about working with patience, energetic persistence, and a love for humanity, generating momentum to rehumanize our world, knowing that each committed individual makes a world of difference. The people in Tlamacazapa, Mexico, are reweaving their lives. They are creating a new reality, one richly woven with pride, purpose, and peace. If you would like to help the people of Tlamacazapa in Mexico with a donation or with hands-on involvement, please visit atsin.org.
Qué triste se oye la lluvia en los techos de cartón. Qué triste vive mi gente en las casas de cartón. Viene bajando el obrero, casi arrastrando sus pasos por el peso del sufrir. Mira que es mucho el sufrir. Mira que pesa el sufrir. Arriba deja la mujer preñada, abajo está la ciudad.